teams. Number 20 BYU beat number 24 Iowa State 87-72. Losses for number 9 Baylor, number 11 Wisconsin, 16th ranked Utah State, and number 19 TCU. Wins for second ranked Purdue, number 3 Kansas, and number 8 Tennessee.
Alabama 1st and 10 on 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports. It's a hump day edition of the show. Normally we'd have a Would You Rather Wednesday, Wildcard Wednesday. Man, we have so much to get to today that we're going to jump right into it. So glad you've chosen to get up and add them with us this morning. If you have to get off a little early, want to remind you that tomorrow we're going to have a little true false. Also, we're going to be talking about, is college football broken beyond repair? And, of course, we'll keep covering the news of what's happening with Kane DeBoer and this staff. Like it, love it, hate it, where you feeling, what you feeling, all of those things and more right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. It's the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. The playbook for today, Nate Oats gets his 200th win. Big game for Griffen and others. We'll continue the coverage of Coach DeBoer and the hiring of his new staff. What's your thoughts on Kane Wommack? Wommack. I'm not sure which way to say that. Wommack versus T-Rob. Is Maurice Linguist an upgrade? Question of the day. What are your expectations for 2024 for this Alabama football team? And then we'll round things out at the end of the day with Scotty Hollins, executive director, in the last few minutes of the program with a Christian moment of the week as he encourages us how to incorporate our faith into the boardroom, classroom, where our chosen field of play. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir? I didn't get any volume from X. Check your mute.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. Doing well. I got a little audio. Some of you may have heard it if you were watching the game or saw the game or watched the news, but Coach showed up at the basketball game, guest appearance, and had a little bit to say. Let's see what he had to say this morning, and then we'll come back and react to what he had to say.
I already feel like I know where I should be. It's right over here, right? I know where to find you. Hey, it is so awesome to be here. It's happened really fast. We got a lot of great news coming out, whether it's recruiting, our staff. Can't wait to ingrain myself in this community. What a special place. The standard is Alabama. Can't wait to be here. Let's keep supporting all of the athletic teams. Roll Tide. Alabama head football coach.
Yeah, that was Coach Kane DeBoer. I may replay that again. X, I love it. He comes out and he says, I know where I need to be. And he immediately goes over and engages the students. He said he can't wait to get there. Two things he said in there to want to hit. He said Alabama is the standard, and then he said he has some good news coming regarding the coaching staff and recruiting. So we'll definitely be talking about recruiting tomorrow. But what's your thoughts on Coach and that little quick 45-second clip there in terms of what he had to say?
Man, I love Coach DeBoer's energy and his approach so far. And as far as what we've seen is the staff is concerned, he's been bringing in, top level guys, maybe not names that but as I said yesterday, one of the big things that Alabama has struggled with has been the development of these high caliber recruits that they've been getting. And he seems to want a staff that is going to be known for their development of players. And I love who he's been bringing in.
Yeah, it's interesting to see as you look at this coaching staff. But before I do that, Justin, what are your thoughts real quick? I mean, are you still a student, Justin, or just finished?
I just finished.
That's
I graduated
what I thought.
last May.
That's what I thought. But what's your thoughts? You're really close to that age, and you probably still have some friends there. What are the students thinking right now? What are they feeling?
Oh, well, I know that group that he was referring to at the basketball game, the Crimson Chaos, man, they are a rowdy bunch. I wasn't necessarily in the middle of all that, but I sat next to those guys, and I loved it. I think sparingly the times that Coach Saban acknowledged the students was like the highlight of our year. Uh-huh. So when Coach comes out and it's only his first week on campus and is giving respect and showing the students that he cares and he appreciates them, I think my hype level is about through the roof. I'm ready for football season.
Yeah, I mean, he literally said, okay, I see you. I know where to find you. I'm coming. I mean, he literally took like wherever I couldn't see exactly where he was at, but he turned and went directly over to the students. So I thought once again, getting that hype around it, and that's what I thought probably happened. So it's good to hear that it did work out that way. Got him a little Roll Tide in there as well. We're going to talk about the staff and what he's doing there, and I'm probably going to say something that may come across as disrespectful, but it's not. I absolutely 100% honor Coach Saban and what he did and what he built here and what he has positioned us for. I'm excited about that. And so I want to make sure that as I talk that this is no disrespect meant backwards. It's just excitement about going forward. And I cannot. We're going to talk basketball here in just a second, X. But if you had told me and said, Martin, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level, or your nervous level, whichever way you want to put it, nervous being low, excitement being high, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you had told me where would you be when Coach Saban retired? If you had told me that 2 weeks ago that Coach Saban was retiring, a year ago, 5 years ago, I would be like a 3 of just, oh my God, where are we going to go? How's it going to be? I don't have that now. I really don't have that. I would probably say I'm somewhere in the 9.5 to 10 from an excitement standpoint. Does that mean it's going to pan out? I don't know. But just from a pure how I feel about the way this transition is happening, man, I'm like almost through the roof. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's turning out to be everything I can imagine for the next man up, the next guy in. When you're talking about replacing the absolute king of college football, the legend, the GOAT, however you want to describe Coach Saban and everything he accomplished in the college game. But Coach DeBoer has come in with the right attitude and the right mindset. And so I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this next chapter is. Hopefully for my kids, this is the coach that they will remember for the large portion if not all of their childhood. So it's going to be a great time. I hope it's definitely better than the early part of my childhood.
Hey, Justin, what are your thoughts initially from that excitement versus anxious that you're feeling versus what you thought you would have felt?
Yeah, I don't think I would have felt this way. I think the 2 or 3 days there where we were, everything was on fire and we didn't know who our head coach was going to be was very nerve-wracking and an anxious feeling. I didn't exactly think it was going to be Kalen DeBoer, but it's almost like since that hire's been made, it's very settled down. Like you said, excitement is up. And now that we actually have a vision of what this staff is going to be, really my only nervousness is who are the players we're going to retain, which I'm sure is what we'll talk about later in this show as well.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at too. So we're definitely going to talk about it and everything. And I'm gonna play some audio. It'll be a longer clip of why I feel good about where we are. And so we'll play that. Come back on the other side. From the basketball note, Xavier Nate Oats gets his 200th win and a big win over Missouri. It was tight, nip and tuck. 3-point lead, 5-point lead, 1-point lead. All of a sudden, next thing you know, Rylan Griffen gets hot, and it's an 18-point win. What are your thoughts in Nate Oats getting his 200th win, Alabama moving to 4-0 in the SEC, and what a time to have that game as long as your top scorer, the league's top scorer, is healthy. Sears is healthy by Saturday as they take on Tennessee. And man, they may have the best player in the country.
Yeah, it was a dogfight of a game. Bama got out early, came back. Good job on Mizzou for making it close. But as you said, Rylan Griffen and Aaron Estrada had big nights last night, stepping up for Mark Sears, who had an off game. And that's what you like to see. You like to see when your number one guy, when he's a little off, when he's a little banged up, other guys stepping up and making big plays, big shots. And that's what you got from Griffen and Estrada, but especially Griffen down the stretch.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. It was definitely good to see Estrada play good. It was Griffen play good. When Sears was out, both guys getting his point average. I mean, that's what you love. He goes out and two other guys get the average that Sears has had. You cannot ask for more. Except for we still need more out of Grant Nelson. He has got to get better on the offensive side of the ball. He's pressing right now. He seems a little nervous. His hands don't seem very strong right now. We just need more out of him on the offensive end, and we would need all of that we got last night, plus him, plus Sears, when we go up to Tennessee. Those guys took a Florida team that I think was averaging in the 80s, held them to 60-something points, and like I said, they may have the best player in the college basketball right now. So we'll talk more about that as we get closer to that game on this weekend. Real quick, CJ Watson saying good game for Bama last night. It was really good to see other guys step up when Sears had the ankle issue that had him out of rhythm from early in the game. 3-12 brought the energy and points. Good showing for those guys. So kudos to them. It was a good game for sure, according to Virgil Williams. It did get chippy between the teams a few times, and our guys played very good. Nate Oats, I said Nate Oats is going to get fined, but it's college. Nate Oats told that guy, get out of here. Go on get. So if you missed that, that's a clip worth watching. Don't like to see coaches do that, but also at the same time, high energy, and I think it helped. I think the tech on Grant that was like babyish all helped this basketball team get more energy and everything that they need. So we'll talk about it more on the other side. You're listening to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. The Alabama One hotline is open as always, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. And of course, if you tune in on the live stream, know that you can always add your comments in and we'll work them into the conversation. Coming back on the other side, we're going to hear some good stuff from Coach DeBoer, and then we'll talk and dig in on his staff. Hey, for those of you who maybe new, we don't rush anything here. We repeat, we cover, we talk, we dig deep, we go deep. So if you got something that you feel like we may have moved on from and you want to bring it back up, phone lines open, chats open. Let's talk about it.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. It is a none too comfortable 12 degrees across the Tuscaloosa region as you get up and head out the door this morning. You may run into the with roadway ice again. Doesn't appear to be quite as widespread as what we saw for a while yesterday, but just keep in mind that's always a risk, particularly on the elevated roadways like bridges and overpasses. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Townsend Nissan Super Sale is underway right now with instant savings from $2,000 to $10,000 on most in-stock units. No reasonable offer refused. Shop Townsend Nissan today.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
West Alabama's Big Old Deer Hunting Contest is underway. Our weekly winners are picking up $50 gift cards for Texas Roadhouse. And all weekly winners are entered into the grand prize competition at the end of the season. Take your big buck over to Hicks Taxidermy. The Big Old Deer Hunting Contest is presented by Tuscaloosa Ford, Dwayne's Towing and Recovery, North River Outdoors, Elite Recruiting, Tuscaloosa Tractor, and Houghton's Deer Processing. Win your shot at thousands of dollars in cash and prizes with the Big Old Buck Hunting Contest.
Healthy meal options fast. Clean Eats is now open downtown with a full-service lunch and dinner cafe, coffee and smoothie bar, healthy meal prep, and grab and goes. Clean Eats on University across from the federal courthouse. CleanEATZ.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny sky today. We rise above the freezing mark this afternoon. The high today 36. Clear tonight, not as cold as last night, the low 22. Tomorrow becoming mostly cloudy, a chance of some light rain by afternoon, the high 46. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 12 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Guys, this is a I may not play the entirety of the clip, but I do think that hearing Coach DeBoer in his press conference and his immediate embrace of the university and Coach Saban and others is mission critical to why we're feeling what we're feeling. So here's a little bit of Coach DeBoer. We may listen to the entirety of it. We may break in at different points and just commentate on it. But you've probably heard this, but we want to break down the conversation of what's being said. Here's Coach DeBoer.
I could go on and on about the next person I need to thank, show appreciation to, love, and you all know who that is, and Coach Saban. We just talked for the first time yesterday. And I've been in his ear a couple times already here, and man, I can just feel in his voice. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen it for many years. You know, this place is special. It's special to him, but it's special to all of you because he's what he's built it up to be. It's not just about the championships. I met with the team last night and heard from them and heard why they came here. Okay, a lot of great reasons, all tied to the Alabama brand, the education, playing here, you know, each and every Saturday, and the support that they get. But obviously there was a major piece of that where they came here because Coach Saban and Miss Terry, poured everything into him, and they just saw the vision and wanted to be a part of it. And it's a privilege to be chosen to be in this role. It's one I don't take lightly, and I know that Coach Saban's been working hard to make sure that this program is in a great spot for the next person to take over. I think he hasn't told me this, but I think there's an intentionality that's been in place. You kind of figure out, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think you kind of know at some point, you don't know when that point is, but you want to make sure it's in a great place. And as you can see just from this past season, it's in a great place.
Just stop right there, X. And just when you hear him talking over and over and talking about program being in a great place and Coach Saban and what he's meant and what he did and all of those aspects of it, paying homage to Coach Saban, boom, right out the box, was absolutely, I think, mission critical in recognizing that he's taking over a program where he doesn't have to come in and fix something. He just have to build on it. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not about a rebuild. It's about a continuation. It's about a reload. And he understands that, and he's taking the right approach with it so far.
Yeah, and I love what, if this program was smart, if they were smart, they'd have Tyler Booker on every station right now. I mean, if I was in charge of this program right now, I'd have Tyler Booker on every program, every news. Every time somebody said, hey, I want to talk to somebody, I'm like, here, talk to him. Because yesterday he talked about day before he posted something, and I retweeted it on my Facebook page, or posted it on my Facebook page at Martin J. Houston 35, and it said he was talking about wait till after spring, look at your legacy. He's been able to play and start, and now he gets to be. I love it. I get to be a leader in this time of transition. Okay. And I'm one of the leaders, and I get to build my legacy. That's my legacy, is that I get to lead Alabama through one of the greatest transition opportunities ever had. And then he said, and there's no dollar amount that you could buy my legacy for. But then he comes back and says, playing for Coach Saban had always been a dream of mine. I'm forever grateful for him making an impact on my life. I look forward to carrying on the culture, the traditions, and the standards that has been made at Alabama. I'm very excited to kick off this new era. I mean, I'm telling you, this dude X would be the guy that I'd have out there talking to everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When you hear him speak, you just the love for football, the love for Coach Saban, but also the love that he has for the University of Alabama. And talking about that, you can't buy my legacy. Man, that is something that screams volumes, and that you don't just need to look at that in the Alabama and football aspect, but that's a life lesson.
Yeah.
Don't be bought out when your legacy is something that you build for yourself.
Absolutely. And so we'll keep that going, but here's a little bit more of Coach DeBoer.
A room last night where, I saw a team that has stuck together. Greg talked about 72 hours, okay? I want you to put yourself in those guys' shoes, okay? The legendary coach, okay, that they came to play for, all right? And now what's next? And I can't tell you how much I appreciate them already. And I've had multiple meetings last night, today with them, individually, leadership groups. I know how badly they want to continue the tradition, how they want to do it the right way. And them just getting to know me here in just a few hours, it's been a blast. And I can't wait for the journey that lies ahead. But Coach Saban, thank you for all you've done, for laying the foundation for myself and the rest of this staff that we'll hire and these players to continue to build on everything you've done here. So thank you. He's the best in the business to ever do it. I'm just going to make sure that's all known that that's how I feel. And 100% access, okay, to everything. I would be a fool if that wasn't the case. I would be a fool. And I'm going to ask him that he shows up and make sure he gives me at least one thing every day. I'm sure he's going to have 10. I'm going to be good with that. But at least one thing that he sees that we can get better at. And so I also think it's so important to understand that most programs don't just they don't even have one legend, right? That's in their program or have come through the years. And we have probably more than two if you really want to talk about it, but Coach Bryant, right? And when I talked to Coach Saban yesterday, he spoke of that. And, you know, that just right there told me just how humble he is and how grateful he has been to follow in someone else's shoes and continue to build on what we have here at Alabama.
That was, to me, that's that last little bit there when he says that he thanked him, he thanked the tradition, he did it all. Okay, he hit all of it. But when he was man enough, I'm telling you, when this dude comes in and fully embraces Coach Saban and says, I'm going to give him 100% access, he said, I want to make sure that it's known that I recognize that he's the best to ever do it. He's going to have 100% access, and I'm going to intentionally ask him for one thing, recognizing that he'll probably have 10. But I'm going to go to him on a regular basis. And I asked, I was talking to Ryan off air, Xavier, and I said, you know, I work for a credit union, Alabama One. And I was like, if I was in a position to take that job and I looked at the current CEO and felt like he's the best to ever do it at Alabama One, okay, the greatest to ever do it at Alabama One or any credit union in the world, and he stepped away, I'd be a fool to not have him close to me, to ask him questions and to seek his advice. Why have we have made it sound like you can't do this? And I think it's because we've not seen enough men who were bold enough and brave enough to say, hey, I'm not coming in to turn everything over. I'm coming in and I'm going to embrace the GOAT and I'm going to do it my way, but he's going to have a voice in what we do. I mean, it was an absolute, to me, it is so cool. And there was one other statement that was said. I'll talk about it on the other side. What you got real quick, man?
Man, you're 100% correct. And listening to it, that's what it made me think of. The reason why you see drop-offs, you see fall-offs in these situations is because you don't continue to take in, and especially if the other guy's willing to help. Like, why would you not? Why would you not reach out and say, hey, you're at the pinnacle. You're where I want to be one day. Why would I not continue to use you as a resource, especially if you're willing to give it? And I think it's a give and take on both sides of people not wanting to reach up out of pride, but also reach back down out of pride because, if I help the next guy, then people will forget about me. No, you're the reason why people feel the way they do.
Saban used the word when he was talking to Reese Davis. He said, it's not always about records. It's about legacy. And so that tells me that he understands that his record is what it is. But if Alabama were to transition Justin and be great under DeBoer, does that not also enhance Saban's legacy that he was here, he did it, he left it in such a place that the next guy came in and had continued success?
Yeah, I think it does. And it just got easier for Kalen DeBoer to do that since we're moving to the 12-team playoff next year.
Yeah, and so I think that Saban grasped, my legacy is not finished. My legacy is not done at Alabama. The next step for my legacy is that and this is not an insult to Coach Bryant because he passed away, and I don't know how things would have been had he not. But think about what happened to the University of Alabama post Coach Bryant. I've always said if I leave, I want it to be better after I left than it was when I was there. And most people don't have that mindset. Well, I think Coach Saban gets it that his legacy is built even greater if Alabama continues to be a force in college football after him, because it shows that his process and the foundation that he built wasn't just built on him. It was built on his principles, his values, his culture, his tradition, and his legacy will only grow. And Kalen DeBoer and Coach Saban, I think, may be the first two guys who have ever taken this particular approach. And I can't wait to see how it pans out. Kalen DeBoer said something that I want us to think about and talk about. And Philip, I'm going to get you in on the other side because it fits in with the conversation. There was one statement in there that he said that I think is mission critical. And I think we need to look at the team versus the people that keep showing up in the media and showing up in the portal. We need to listen to what the coach is saying and what certain players are saying. And I'll talk about it on the other side.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this state.
Hey, Buckner here for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. And first up, a flashback. In 2021, I was both excited and amazed with the award-winning Elantra redesign. Today, the 2023 Elantra remodel is recognized for the best value balance of price and features. I'm talking about both Elantra and Elantra Hybrid. KBB.com recognizes Elantra is the lowest 5-year cost to own in its class. Elantra wins awards for innovative technology and 5-star safety rating. Elantra delivers up to 42 miles per gallon for gas and up to 56 miles per gallon for Elantra Hybrid. If you're thinking about Civic, Corolla, or Sentra, accept this invitation to compare the 2023 Elantra at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. With no add-on side stickers, your cost to own is low from the get-go. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and Texas and O Sports Xavier Houston.
Welcome back in. Man, it's not just Tyler Booker that's making statements out there. I have to give a shout out. I love it that we have a veteran leader making this statement, but also like the fact that we have a young guy who hasn't seen as much playing time and says Alabama DB Devontae Smith is locked in with Coach DeBoer. Any of these cats that are thinking about leaving need to meet with him immediately. And if they still want to leave, we don't need them. So that's Devontae Smith. Also, Coach DeBoer saying, whoever transfers. The players that stay have a chance to become Alabama football legends and helping start this new era. He said something, X, at the beginning. He said when he met with them, he saw a team that was sticking together through the transition. Now, we've had some guys pop up in the portal. We've had some guys maybe be in the portal, etc. Now, I want everybody to hear me say this. I don't begrudge those guys that's in the portal because right now, X, the truth be known, you know what one of the sites I have pulled up on my website? while I'm on the show
What's
here?
that?
I got Washington's roster pulled up. And I'm looking, man. I'm looking for a center. I'm looking for an offensive.
He's in there.
What's that?
He's in there.
Oh,
he is in there.
You talking about the like the all-world center from Washington is in the portal?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so it's a possibility that somebody could leave the Huskies and come to us.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. So Alabama fans, don't worry about them that's leaving, because we're hoping to get some of that gravy back. Don't begrudge these players when they leave. If they don't want to be here, and they can have reasons why they don't want to be here, guys. Some of these kids come from nothing, and the money is too big for them to turn down. It's bigger than the Crimson A. I get it. But focus on those who are here and those who may want to be here and those who may want to come because of the money. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. Let's see what Philip has to say. Philip, thanks for your patience. You're in with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I appreciate you letting me get on, Martin. I tell you, I'm excited. A couple of things. Well, basically, the first thing, he's putting together a really solid staff.
Ooh, what you talking about?
Anybody that thinks that's not a solid staff is out of their mind.
Hey, go back and see what our new DC did at Indiana, and then go see what he did to Oklahoma State and what he did to bring that program back up. And then I know that there's been some people worried about Linguist's head coaching record. He ain't coming here to be a head coach. I ain't worried about his record there. I want to know what he did with them DBs he coached.
Oh yeah, he got my attention last night when I read about him. That got my attention. He sounds like a really good coach.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Let me ask you something real quick before. Is it possible that do you understand that right now? Let me ask you. I want people to understand something. Instead of getting T-Rob, we got the following. We got 2 head coaches.
Exactly.
If we hire T-Rob, I don't know how good a recruiter this guy is, but supposedly that's one of his sticks, talking about Linguist, and he's a head coach, and he may be the co-DC, or he may have just left Buffalo to be a position coach at Alabama. Either way, you have 2 guys replacing one, and here's the beauty of it. Both of them have Southern connections. Wommack's dad has history in the SEC. Don't think that Wommack's dad doesn't have relationships that he can build up on.
Right.
I mean, this is great. I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Martin, before I forget, I'll lose my train of thought. So I call for that reason, but the other astounding reason I call is I hope that the Alabama fans looked at the statistic that I looked at that made my jaw drop. He had a receiver at Washington that had over 1,600 yards receiving last year.
Oh, yeah.
That's strong.
I think they had 3 receivers that were higher than our top receiver. I know at least 2, but maybe 3.
Well,
the only reason they didn't have 3 is because one got hurt.
Okay.
He still put up 600 yards.
Yeah. Well, that one guy had more receiving yards than Bond and Niblack together by 900 yards.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You're not laughing at me. You're laughing with me.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a good day.
Hey, Phil, thanks for bringing that up, man.
Yeah, have a good one too, Phil.
Hey, listen, and you can go back and look at what he's done at every place he's been offensively, him and Grubb, but it's so much to get to, X. But this team, I mean, we might get a center out of the portal. Arizona's coach is now so Alabama fans, if you want to start looking, go see if there's like a superstar at Arizona, maybe a superstar at Washington, and maybe those guys come over here. Remember, there are guys in the portal. You can't declare and go to the portal, but Alabama can still pull guys from the portal. Okay.
Yeah.
You just can't enter the portal except for unless your head coach goes. So there may be some guys that fit this offense even better or this defense even better. And so let's remember, as we dog the guys who leave Alabama, you have to be careful with that mindset because guys are going to be coming. There's guys that want to come and play for the Script A and for the Crimson jersey and all of that. Go ahead.
And there's another roster that might be coming open.
Michigan?
In the next day or two.
Is that what you're talking
about? That's the Michigan Wolverines. Yeah, and it's the Michigan Wolverines. So,
and if the Michigan,
we might have a chance to pull from the two teams that played in the national championship.
Yeah. Hey, did you see that? Did you see that there's another wide receiver that also committed to Texas?
Yeah. The kid from Oregon State.
My point being, Bond went there based on what the roster was.
I'm still surprised because they got
my point.
They're bringing in 6 receivers, including him.
My point is, he was legendary here. He may have got more money when he left, but somebody failed to explain to that young man what the Script A means when you're legendary. He was legendary. He was immortalized in Alabama allure. He was the grave digger. He would have had something, whether he uses Daniel Moore print, commission his own, or whatever. That alone would have netted him thousands and thousands, and if he knew how to work it, even up to millions of dollars over the course of his life. See, I didn't even have NIL, and the Script A is still paying dividends to me to this day. If they had allowed me to build my brand when I was in college like I wanted to, guys, let me tell you how much football has changed. They would even let me. I went through the interview process, got hired by PepsiCo, the company, and they were going to let me work at Taco Bell until I graduated, and then put me in their marketing department in big PepsiCo, the big company, And the NCAA said, "I'm sorry, you can't work." Not I couldn't get paid, son. Not that I couldn't get paid for working. I couldn't work. And now these guys don't even understand the value of the Script A in building their brand. See, I'm getting ahead of my discussion for tomorrow, so I'm going to stop it at this. If these guys really understood what NIL was, NIL is name, image, and likeness, or building your brand. When you let someone else pay you, when someone else comes along, they pay somebody else. In other words, that Lamborghini lease is up when you're gone and someone else gets that lease. What brand did you build? You didn't build a brand. He was the grave digger. He was the grave digger. I know. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Is college football completely broken? Or is it just poor leadership and pitiful adults in charge of it? Anyway, I'm sorry. I started preaching. I started preaching there. Let me step back for a second. This staff, and we're not going to get into it completely, but this staff that he's putting together, X, is off the chain. And we'll Wommack, we got Kane, Wommack, and Maurice Linguist as our DC.
We 2 head coaches to step down.
And guess what? Both of those guys are here because T-Rob is in Georgia. I'm going back to Virgil Williams' statement yesterday. If he had this type of connection, I don't know that he offered him the DC job. He may have just interviewed him to save face and let everybody know, hey, listen, there was interest there, because he couldn't not interview him and hold on to this roster, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts there. We're there's just not enough time in 1 hour, Justin, to get to it all. There's so much. This staff that he's putting together, I asked you yesterday, what's your expectations? Well, we're just going to have to pick that up again tomorrow. We'll just keep it rolling right here. We do it every day, so just come back. But what's your expectations, man? I'm telling you, X, I feel this is going to be probably controversial. This is what I mentioned earlier. People are going to think I'm being disrespectful. Based on the staff we had last year and Coach Saban coaching, based on that staff and based on DeBoer and his staff, I would take better results for 2024 right now based on DeBoer and his staff over Saban and the staff we had last year. We got to quickly get to Ronnie because come back on the other side, we need to get to Scotty. Ronnie, you're from South Carolina. You're in. What's on your mind real quick?
Thanks for taking my call.
No doubt.
I just wanted to mention with Milroe getting a new center that can snap the ball, he can keep focused on defense. And with this offense that we running with the new coach, he's going to have receivers going deep. If Milroe see everything's covered up, he's going to have some wide open lanes to run with to get a lot of yardage scrambling.
I like it, Ronnie. You got anything else before I let you go?
I think we're going to run them more in general.
Yep. All right. Hey, let's.
I think they're running. I just feel like it's going to open a lot more lanes with receivers scrambling all over the field, and the backs are going to have to cover them and those they can get behind them if they don't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Ronnie. Thanks for calling. Call back when I can give you a little bit more time. Appreciate that insight. Coming back on the other side, we'll have Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries, incorporate how do we can incorporate our faith into the boardroom, classroom, and chosen field of play. Thanks to all the new listeners and chatters and people who've joined the show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Very quiet ride all across the region this morning. We're looking at just 8 minutes on 2059 between I-359 and Skyland Boulevard. That's going both directions. Lurling Wallace moving nicely, coming down from Northport, crossing the Hugh Thomas Bridge up to Jack Warner Parkway. You're in a quiet condition there with no big problems along the way. You might run into some roadway ice again this morning, but reports of that are not as widespread as yesterday. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good morning. This is Mary Kay from the Town Square Media Newsroom. And be careful this morning. There could be some questionable driving conditions, even though some of Tuesday's freezing rain and snow melted. In the overnight and early hours, the remaining moisture could have frozen again. The threat of bitterly cold temperatures and dangerous wind chill values are still in the forecast. There's a hard freeze warning until 10 this morning. And to get the full list of West Alabama schools on delay or being closed today, tap our free Tuscaloosa Thread app.
On the next Inside the Locker Room with Coach Wimp Sanderson and Barry Sanderson.
Tune in Wednesday. We'll continue to look at Coach DeBoer's hires and see about the defensive coordinator, Coach Wommack, and who he's going to bring in with him. We also break down the Alabama-Missouri basketball game that will happen tonight. In the second hour, we'll talk with Bill Cameron, and we'll find out what's going on with the Auburn Tigers on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Inside the Locker Room, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
You know what happens in a plasma chamber?
Big stuff. Science stuff.
Diamonds. I'm Tom Osmond. Fincher & Osmond Jewelers carries artisan-created diamonds.
Earth and human safe.
And bigger. Lots bigger.
Fincher & Osmond diamonds from the mines or artisan-created diamonds.
They're all diamonds.
If you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
FincherandOsmond.com. A little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. It's now time for the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. Thanks to all the new callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for what you do. Each Wednesday, we take the last few minutes of the program to speak with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, and to help incorporate how we can help us incorporate our faith into the boardroom, the classroom, where our children feel the play. Good morning, Scotty. Welcome into the program.
Good morning, Martin. Always a pleasure to join you on Wednesday mornings, man. And we're going to continue with our series, the building blocks necessary for building something special. So I want us to, of course, as we talk about January, everybody's trying to build something. Everybody's saying, hey, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to read my Bible more. I'm going to go to church more. I'm going to, everybody's making these New Year's resolutions, and I welcome those, and I'm excited about those. But I wanted to say, look, no matter what you're building, no matter what you say you want to do better, you want to do more of, I wanted to give you a few building blocks that you can add to that. Really, building blocks, foundations that you can add to that can help you build something special this year. We're talking about God's word, and we looked at Romans 12:2. Paul's talking to the church of Rome. He says, don't be conformed to the pattern of this world any longer, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. He's talking about renewing of our minds with God's word. So we talked about how important it is for us to saturate our minds with God's word. We looked at the word hand, 5 different ways that we can expose our minds to God's word: reading it, studying it, hearing it, memorizing it, and meditating on it. Today, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into a few of those. Talk about reading, having a reading plan. One of my favorite ways to read through the Bible, and if you've never read through the Bible in a year, it is very intimidating at first. And, you think, man, that's not, that's a huge commitment, and it is. But I'll tell you this, you'll never regret it. One of my favorite ways to do it is to read through the Bible with the chronological reading plan. And so the YouVersion Bible app, I guess this is a commercial, Martin. I didn't mean to make a commercial, but the YouVersion Bible app has a bunch of reading plans. But the one that I enjoy for reading the Bible in a year is the chronological one. And what it will do is it will put the Bible in order for you. Believe it or not, like the order that it actually happened. And so when you look at the Bible, it's kind of divided. The first 17 books are history books, and then the next 5 are poetry. The next 17 are prophecy, and so that's the Old Testament. In the New Testament, you got the 4 Gospels. That's the first 4. Then Acts is the history book. Then you got letters after that, and then you got one prophecy book, which is Revelation. But the point is this: when you read the Bible in chronological form, you actually get a chance to read it in the version in the order that it actually happened. So you'll read you read the first 12 chapters of Genesis, and then I think it's about 12 chapters you get to, and then you read the whole book of Job, and then you read Genesis 13, just to put it in perspective, because Job actually happened right there. So here's what I'm encouraging you to do. I want to encourage you to consider, if you've never read through the Bible in a year, consider it. And if you decide to read through the Bible in a year, go to the YouVersion Bible app and go to their reading plans and look for their chronological reading plan. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. One thing they'll do is they'll send you reminders to your phone. They'll send you reminders to your email. And you're going to read about, it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes a day. And if you miss a day, you can catch yourself up. The other thing is you can listen to it. If you're, you got a long, busy travel day, you can listen to the Bible. You can actually just ride and listen to your daily reading for that day. They have a feature on there where you can listen to the word if you don't have time to read it. So point is, please choose a reading plan, even if it's not the chronological, but please choose a reading plan and read through the Bible this year. And I'm going to say the last thing. No matter what you're doing, whether you're reading it, studying it, hearing it, memorizing, always meditate on it, which is to play it over and over in your head. And let me give you a quick example, a great verse. Joshua 1:8 says to meditate on God. It actually said, do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth, but it says meditate on his word day and night. And I use this verse often. The only time it's not nighttime is when, Martin?
When it's daytime?
You got it. And the only time it's not daytime is when it's what?
Nighttime.
You got it. So he didn't say meditate on my word morning, evening. That's two different times because you leave out noon, right? He says day and night. That's all the time. And he says, meditate on my word day and night. Listen, so that you be careful to do everything written in it. Then he says, and then you'll be prosperous and successful in all you do. And if I'm going to make up a sports analogy, here's what we're saying. We're saying, as Martin often does, and you still going to take it to the next level too, Martin. But what we, basically God's word is our playbook. It's our life playbook. And, if we talk about how are we going to run the plays if we don't know the plays?
Yeah.
How are we going to run the plays if we only look at our plays on one day a week? Hey, and so I want to encourage you, if you talk about building something special, start with God's word and start with spending time in his word every single day.
Absolutely. There's so many things here that I could tie into. One is you talk about renewing your mind because you're reading the word. It's sort of like what we're having to do as Bama fans. Even though Coach Saban is great, we need to take the lens of what DeBoer is saying and then filter him through that. Same thing with the word. There may be something great in your life, but if you take God's word and put it on and filter what he's saying, it could be even better, even though it's a change. And you talk about that meditating on the word. Listen, man, I used to do this every single play that we had in our game plan. I would go over it over and over and over and see myself doing that play the night. I do it all week, but the night before I would literally go through every play. You know what happened?
That's it.
In the game time, I didn't even have to think about what I was supposed to do. And I would look at different scenarios. I was looking, okay, if the guy goes left, then that means I go right. If he goes right, I go left. If he stalemates, I go this way or this way. And so instinctively, because I kept meditating, I was able to run that play without a lot of angst and worry and stress. And that's what happens when we start to meditate on God's word is we learn to go through this life and we are ready for the moves of the enemy. And then we're able to navigate through life without the anxiety and the stress because we know what move we're supposed to make when the enemy attacks. So much, man. I mean, like I said, tell them where they can find you, Scotty. We have to spend some more time on that one. We will.
www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there. Come straight to my email.
I tell people often meditation is not thinking on nothing. It's thinking on God's word, man. And I'm telling you, yes, I tell people when he says I'm the head, not the tail, above, not beneath, I like to see what that looks like. All right. Roll Tide out to everybody. Hey, that's Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries. I'm Martin Houston, Justin Jones, Xavier Houston, all on the Martin Houston Show. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Thanks to all the callers and viewers and chatters for being a part of the program. Roll Tide.
We gonna celebrate and have a good time. Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.